Ask the quality questions. What is it that your loved one or your mom or your dad needs, and what are you guys are looking for? See where a fit for you is. And then based on that, then you start walking the property. If they tell you, hey, my mom would love to have a private shower, guess what? You're going to go to the room that has a private shower.
Welcome to the RAL Room Assisted Living Podcast with your hosts, Charlie Cameron and Alex Schlow. This is your go-to show for cutting-edge insights from industry leaders in residential assisted living.
Whether you're ready to launch your own assisted living business or looking to invest in this fast-growing, high-impact sector, we are here to equip you with the tools, strategies, and confidence you need to succeed. Get ready to ride the silver tsunami and change the future of senior care. Now on to today's show. Welcome back to today's episode of the RAL Room Assisted Living Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Alex Schlow, and today we are thrilled to have not one, but two guests. Today we have Johnny Cashflow and Ricardo Garcia joining us on the podcast. They are the founders of Angels Haven Care, and we're so excited to have them on the podcast. Johnny, we'll start with you first and then jump to Ricardo. Can you give us a brief introduction to you, where you are right now in your assisted living journey before we jump back in time to how it all started?
Yeah, definitely. We're located in Southern California, Riverside County. We're definitely 1 year in, I think a little bit past 12 months, and loving it, man. I think that we couldn't pick any other industry that actually makes an impact instead of being very transactional.
Awesome. That's fantastic. What about you, Ricardo?
Definitely. Yeah. So as Johnny said, we're co-owners of Angels Haven Care. We started our first locations in July of last year. We bought a 3-pack, and it's been a very impactful year for us, and being in the industry, supporting our elderly. So it's been a lot of learning lessons. We have 5 locations now. So it's been quite a journey now.
That's amazing. 5 locations in about a year.
In about a year, yeah.
Man, that's awesome.
A year and a month.
Yeah.
Yeah. But before this, we were learning and doing all that. So we've been at it for over 2 years now, doing all the learning and negotiations, and we just hit the ball rolling.
Yeah, you sure did. I'm excited to learn more about that. And for folks who are wondering, unfortunately, Johnny's last name is not actually Cashflow, but that would be awesome. You should change it to that, Johnny. Awesome. Tell us about the journey into the world of assisted living. You said you've been learning for about 2 years, and then you jumped right in, and now you guys have 5 locations. So do you mind sharing a bit more about how you got started?
Yeah, I'll let Johnny start with this. He's the one who brought me along, and he had talked about it, so he can tell the story how.
It's one of those things that you talk to somebody about it, and then you think the pool's like cold, and then you have Ricardo who just, dude, don't worry about it. He just pushed me in the pool, and I'm like, okay, there we go. Yeah, definitely. I've been doing real estate for over 20 years, and a full-time realtor for 5 years. And me and Ricardo talked about investing and how can we make an impact. And so we started doing Airbnbs. He currently has an Airbnb right now in Coachella that he's managing. And then we looked into multifamily. And one of those things that we noticed is that multifamily and even Airbnb is very transactional. When it comes to assisted living, it's more than just a transaction. It's impactful. You're dealing with one person, loved one, and you impact their kids, and it's down the line. So yeah, sure. He's, hey, you know what? Let's invest in real estate. What do you have in mind? I'm like, first of all, let's get you a house. He goes, so he bought a house. He goes, I love this. And then he goes, let's get an Airbnb. Then he got the Airbnb. And then I'm like, okay, what else can we do? And then one of my mentees that I was mentoring at that time tells me, hey, help me sell this property. And I'm like, well, it's pretty easy, man. Just put a for sale sign, put it in Zillow, and you'll sell it. He's like, no, there's elderly people there. And I'm like, okay, just tell them that they need to leave and you're selling the house. He's like, no, there's caregivers. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, you got to come and check it out. So I went down there, and he showed me how the business is run, what they were doing there. And right away, I'm like, I got to call Ricardo on this. Hey, Ricardo, man, I'm in this house, man. It's very impactful what they're doing here. And instead of investing in rentals and Airbnb, man, let's do this. And he's like, okay, hold on. And then he starts researching. He's like, all right, we need to talk. And then from there, I got to admit, Ricardo did his research, find a mentor who actually done it before. We're really big on personal development. We like to pay for speed. We believe heavy on mentorship, the right mentor, not the talker who sees in TikTok and starts saying, doing all kinds of stuff. We actually Like Ricardo says, we trusted him, then we verified. So we got into it, and then literally Ricardo took over. He's okay, we're signing for this mentorship. We're going to the mentorship. I'm learning all the operations on it, all the business. You take care of the marketing. You buy the real estate, and we just gather investors. And I let him take away, and then he's like, dude, let's do it, man. And here we are, man. 30 beds.
That's amazing.
Well,
30
you
beds.
that the first deal didn't go through. And that's how it came about. Yeah, that's how it came about. We lost quite a few $1,000s there. And essentially my main goal was, of course, make an impact, but also my background's medical device engineering. And as Johnny mentioned, I wanted to start investing in real estate. I started investing in real estate, and then this is how we got into this. And that first deal, shit hit the fan, didn't go well, and I just had to figure out how to get out of the 9-to-5. And I was just scraping, trying to figure out how to get out of the 9-to-5, and eventually I did. And now this is our main focus. My background's engineering, 9-to-5 guy. I wanted to get out, and now I'm living a good life, enjoying what I do. Essentially, I love going to the events. Today we were at the volunteering at the Cathedral City out here in Palm Springs area at the senior center. Johnny was doing that, and then I was at the Chamber of Commerce. So I love doing all that, and it's been quite an impactful journey to be able to support and provide for our elders.
Yeah, absolutely. We talk about it all the time, how you guys wrapped it up really well when you said instead of transactional, it's been impactful. That we talk a lot about kind of growth, freedom, and purpose are like the big three things that we see in the assisted living space. And you're exactly right. It's just a whole nother level when you can, of course, make good returns in the assisted living world, but more importantly, completely change the family and change the care of the seniors and just that give them the care that they truly deserve, which is not always the case in some of these bigger box facilities. And so that's awesome to see what you guys are doing. And Johnny was telling me before you hopped on that he was doing some bingo earlier tonight, and it got pretty intense. It's always a good time, it sounds like, as well at bingo night. So all good there.
Yeah, it's definitely, it is important to put attention to the money. We understand that money follows attention, but at the same time, we just don't give it the value. If you come from that place of giving, everything will fall in place. And we got in the business because, real estate is nice, but definitely impacting a family or a loved one that actually needs it, it's beyond that. It's everything goes away. And there's a need right now. There's a need. There's a house pricing going on just nationwide, especially in California. I couldn't imagine what's going on, what's going to happen in the next 5 years with the silver tsunami. We got more people turning 65. I think there's a couple like 5 million. I think the numbers are out there. In the next 5 years, more people are turning 65 to 70. So there is going to be a need, because I don't want to say I'm millennial, but people just coming up, growing up, that they don't like to be home. People can do their job from a computer, so they don't want to stay home. They want to travel, be in a different country, run their business through an AI, through a computer. They're not going to have that time to take care of the loved ones. For that place, you know what? I'll be the brave one. I love it. I'll take care of them all day.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I completely agree. I just was reading an article the other day, and the first baby boomers to turn 80 just happened in 2025. So that silver tsunami, it is really coming. And we got, like you mentioned, we got 10,000 folks turning 65 each year, or sorry, every day, 10,000 folks are turning 65. And so it's just wild, the demand that's out there. And there's 77 million baby boomers, and 7 out of 10 of them are going to need long-term care, which is 59 million boomers. It is going to be a crisis. And so I'm glad that there are folks like you and people listening to this podcast that are willing to make a difference, to maybe get away from the computer screens, roll up their sleeves, and provide really good care to seniors who need it most. Thanks for doing what you guys do. Can you guys share some pivotal moments or key decisions that kind of help shape your success in the industry? I guess we should really talk about your rapid growth and how you guys went from no locations to 5 in a little over a year. So let's talk a bit about that and what that journey looked like for you.
Yeah, I think I was going to hit on that. I'm sure some folks are wondering, how did these guys went from 0 to 5 in about a year, right? So what Johnny and I focused on is buying existing ones. So right off the bat, we bought a 3-pack out in the Temecula area, and that helped us build that that relationship with the nurses, with the doctors, hospice, because it was from a reputable seller. So we were able to use our connections. And these last two that we bought in Rancho Mirage area was from another. So the first 3-pack were from a nurse. She was a nurse. So every caregiver there, they were well trained. And then now the last two that we just bought this year, and the first one was in February. And then the last one that we just closed, the fifth one, was last month in August. They were ran by a nurse. We pretty much retired her, and the staff is great. And we just had to do some remodeling on the homes. And Johnny can talk a little more on the real estate, since he's the expert on the real estate with the seller financing, creative financing, and how we were able to expand quite rapidly from 0 to 5.
Yeah, that'd be great, Johnny. If you don't mind sharing a little bit more about creative financing and seller financing and how you guys put that deal together, I think that'd be really helpful.
Yeah, definitely. I don't want to say reinvent the wheel. Seller finance has been here forever. It's just the government calls it a bank, and they put that chip that you need to have a bank in order to buy a property. Back in the days, there was no bank. You can exchange and people can carry stuff. Definitely got educated on the seller finance, and just piggybacking with Ricardo says, we're very strategic. If we're going to go after the homes, we're going to go after somebody too who needs the help, who needs to be retired. We're really big on why you're selling and like how was your business run. And sure enough, we found those RNs, those people that, hey, I love to take care of the residents, but I don't know how to run the business. Because you can get in there and help. We come from that place of helping, but at the same time, you do have a mortgage. You do have people. You have payroll. Okay, so we went after those individuals that they needed to sell. Why were they selling? And definitely, yeah, we started hitting the phones. We started hitting groups on Facebook, just pretty much laser focus that Ricardo calls manifesting it. Hey, we're gonna hit a 3-pack. We're gonna impact 8.2 billion people. We're gonna help the seniors. That was everyday focus, and picking up the phone, going to events. And once we had the property, we started being creative with the seller finance by asking the sellers, hey, by the way, if I do buy it for $1 million, if I do buy it for 500, you do know you're gonna get hit with capital gains. And they're like, what is that? In California, after 250, if you're not married, you're gonna hit with capital gain. I didn't know that. Are you married? It's 500. Okay, you're selling me the home for $1 million. That means the other 500 you're gonna get hit because you bought it for 350. And they're like, oh, I didn't know that. Okay, you can't hide from taxes, but you can delay them. So sure enough, we structure it. Everything goes through escrow. We give them the big picture, and at the same time, we tell them exactly what we want to do with the property. We want to continue giving the care. We're gonna keep the staff, and they were helping us. Who do you think that should stay in the business? Who do you think they shouldn't stay in the business? So we did this as collaboration. It wasn't like, hey, let me take over and let me think of cash flow. Or let me just go. Because everybody thinks that, especially with assisted living, is I'm going to cash flow $10,000 a month. And I'm like, okay, that's not going to happen because there's a lot of components of the business that goes in it. So we had to sit down the seller and make this a collaboration, because even transferring the license in California, the seller needs to stay on it. They're still responsible for what goes on here. And what really helped too is getting a mentor, getting educated on where we're going in. Because I wasn't going to just go in and buy the property, take care of elders, and not educate myself. It's the lack of information what stops people. Sometimes the information does stop them too. But we know, hey, let's educate ourselves well on this.
Sometimes being too smart, it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why I have
analysis paralysis.
Yeah. Start analyzing
Rich is the one who tells me, bro, we love the property, but the numbers don't add up. I know you want to take care of it. I know you want to take care of it. He tells me no.
And then I guess another thing of people wondering, because Johnny said we're big on personal development. I know how Johnny works, and Johnny knows how I work. I know exactly what goes through Johnny's mind, and I can read him. And he knows what goes through my mind. Even when we go network, I'll chit chat for 2 hours max, find the right person, and then I let Johnny. He can talk for hours. And so that, like Johnny said, we were very big on personal development. So that has helped us a lot too. And finding the right home and location to just improve on the care on the home and just bringing that business acumen to this industry, because it is something that we've noticed that a lot of owners don't have that, and they run it like a mom and pop. You run into their homes and it's shit, like, why would you bring your mom in here? So that is one of the things that I think Johnny and I have, that we're here to provide, and we care. We actually care for the residents, and we have our homes like if our parents are going to live in it. Just the Rancho Mirage location, we placed the residents at another location, and we renovated the whole house, spent about 160 on the renovation, added another kitchen because this is a 3,800 square feet home. So it has a kitchen that's like on the other side of the home. And we were like, how is the staff going to be able to interact with the residents when they're cooking and the residents are watching TV in the living room area? So we added a kitchen, removed the carpet from the rooms, and all walk-in showers. So this is a six could be a 7-bedroom, but six bedrooms and 4.5 bathrooms. So it's quite a big home. So that just tells how much we care about the care and the homes, how they look. Everyone that comes into our homes are like, oh my God, this doesn't look like they call them facilities, right? It doesn't look like a senior care home. It looks just like a regular home. And that's what we thrive for. All of our homes are bright, white color inside. They're very bright when you come in.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's what it's all about. And it's a huge opportunity. As you mentioned, a lot of these mom and pop run businesses, that's a large opportunity for us too, because we talk a lot about the silver tsunami in terms of the aging population, but there's of course also that silver tsunami of the mom and pop business owners who are ready to sell, and they're running into those pain points. So you guys are really solving two problems with that as well for what you're doing. And I wanted to hit a key point about seller financing that Johnny mentioned, and that you guys have mentioned multiple times, is the power of relationships and the power of understanding, hey, what is the seller looking for? How can we solve this pain point for them? It's a win-win for you and for the seller. They're able to delay capital gains taxes. They're able to continue to get cash flow every month instead of a big lump sum. Like, you have to figure out, hey, what's the pain point of the seller, and how can we make this a win-win for all of us?
Sorry to interrupt this episode, but let's be honest. Most real estate investing right now, it's either buy a fourplex or try Airbnb and hope for the best.
Yeah, we're not here for that.
We're here to show you what we believe is the most overlooked high cash flow real estate strategy in the game right now. You guessed it, residential assisted living. It's literally the one place in real estate where you can net 6 figures on a single home and feel like a decent human being at the same time. You're helping sweet old ladies eat pancakes and play bingo and live longer through better care. You tell me what's better than that.
So we're hosting a free live webinar called How You Can Create Financial Freedom with Residential Assisted Living. No fluff, just value. And it's happening at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 6:30 Mountain Time. No excuses. It's online. Put on sweatpants. We won't judge.
We'll break down why residential assisted living is the best opportunity right now, the 5 steps to take down your first home, and how to set up a business that makes a real impact and real money.
Spots are limited, so don't be that person who DMs us in 3 months saying, wait, is it too late to start?
So hit up theralroom.com/webinar and register now.
Be the hero your grandma already thinks that you are.
We'll see you there. Pancakes not included.
The last 2 assisted living homes that we bought, we did seller financing as well, and it was amazing. The last one we got 6% down, a 7% interest rate, which at the time it was like 8.75%. And so it was a really great option for us to come in with a way smaller down payment. And it just was a win-win for each. And that only came out of, hey, we just kept talking to the seller, figuring out what they wanted. Okay, they needed $45,000, which was 6%, and then go from there. It's just a really great opportunity and can eliminate the bank's involvement as well and get you into these homes a lot faster.
Yeah, definitely. I think that one thing that we stay, well, pretty much where we believe on is come from a place of value, information, and then options. And that's what we approach everybody. Even our people, our individuals, they come to our property and they tour our home. We're just giving them value. We're just going to give them information on our homes. And then we're going to give you options. And it's up to you if you want your loved one to be here or not. And if you're not going to stay here, I'm okay with it. And we approach that everywhere we go. You know what I mean, even when we did the seller, like what value can we bring you guys? What information? And these are the options because I'm not doing seller finance. I'm not being creative with that finance so I can pocket money. It's so I can upgrade the home. So when we have those seniors, we have the right tools, the proper home to care for it. And then when you start giving them that information, it's okay, I know where you're coming from. Instead of, hey, I just don't want seller finance because I think I can get one up on you. No, it's go ahead and we're going to continue the legacy. We're going to continue the care you started. And at the same time, you're going to get paid too. And the longer you give me seller finance, the longer you get paid. And by the way,
and Johnny's very good at finding the pinpoint of the seller, like why they're selling. And for the going back to the seller finance on the first 3 deals, on the 3-pack that we got 0% on the business. And we paid the business in 9 months. So we put in half of the business and then the rest they finance at 0% seller finance on the business, which at that moment, it's the business was cash flowing enough to be able to pay them out. And that allowed us to learn the business and eventually increase the rents and the revenue on the business. So there's people out there that you just got to find why they're selling. In this case, the sellers, they lived about it with traffic out here in California, Southern California. It's 2.5 hours from their location to where they had the residential assisted living home. So you're sitting in traffic, California. It is sunny, but it's still traffic. Sometimes emergencies happen. So that was their main thing. They were getting a couple dings with deficiencies because they weren't properly taking care of the business. So it's just about finding why they're selling. And Johnny, like I said, he's good at that, finding why and then restructuring the business selling. Yeah.
You got to ask yourself, Alex, like, why would somebody sell this? And they were cash flowing, and then you're helping, you're making an impact. You can tell the sellers don't really want to sell, but they flat out says, I just can't run the business. I care so much. I'm an RN. I come from that place. Like, I just don't know the finance. I don't know how to pay for hours. I just don't know how to do invoices. So they start discovering that, hey, it's just more than, I love that you're an RN and you come from the medical side, but you're doing a disserving if you're not taking care of the groceries and upgrading the home like you should be, because there is a wear and tear in the couches, the floors, and if they have carpet, that needs to be getting upgraded throughout the years.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a physician and I got 0 business education or financial education while I was in medical school. And so I could feel the pain of those nurses if they didn't go the extra, I wouldn't say the extra mile, but if they didn't get after that information and try and learn more from a business side of things. Let's pivot a little bit and talk about occupancy, because I think a really common challenge is getting and staying occupied with great residents. So what's been some things that you guys have figured out that have been keys to success when it comes to finding residents for your homes?
I'm huge in this. And then Ricardo is jumping in the wagon. He's like, dude, let's go at it. We know the business is made by people. People make the business. This is a people business, all right? We can go into Google ads. We can go into Facebook ads and special fancy postcards. It has to be collaborating with hospice, with those people that are actually starting to care for seniors. Is just going to the events, creating your own events, posting online, on social media. Tell people what you're doing, who you are. People, and then once they like you, they trust you, then they do business with you. But first, we always work big on, in order for somebody to like you, first they got to know you. And got to know you, got to be exposed out there and tell people, hey, Angels Haven Care, we take care of it. Seniors care. Like, you have to be so proud of it. And we do it so often, even wherever we're at. We carry pamphlets. We're in a restaurant. We see somebody in the side. Hey, passing the pamphlet, tell them who we are. And once they start liking us, then they trust us. And then it's real easy to bring them into the home and provide the care. Because the service and the care, you can't talk about it if they don't like you and they don't trust you. So we start from
So
that.
that's on the marketing, and then essentially, like now, I mean, we're a year and some months now. We're getting the referrals from actual families. We just placed one this month. We took one of the residents because they were at that. She passed already. That this happened last year. The daughters were talking highly of us. They actually invited me to the celebration of life at the big assisted living. They had me speak. I met the executive director there, and this family was really hard to please. So whatever like you do, just let them know that you've worked with me. So that providing that care for them, because that's a critical. I mean, my parents lived with me for quite a few years, so I understand it's a very critical, and they're elderly, so I understand what children are going through, and it's very critical at this stage of life for them. And for us to be able to care and provide and go that extra mile, answering the phone at 2 a.m., they remember that. And so now, I mean, they're also by word of mouth. We do go and try to get involved with the hospitals. We're getting involved with Loma Linda Hospital in Murrieta. And out here in the Rancho Mirage area, we're part of the Eisenhower preferred list vendors for boarding care. So we do a lot of networking, and the senior center here in Cathedral City that Johnny went to today. So we try to get involved in as well with the marketing. We do spend some money on the marketing. We rather spend a lot more money on the Google ads, Facebook, rather than, unfortunately, there is a business for placement agents where we have to pay them. So we do rather spend the money on ourselves and create our brand rather than just pay the placement agent and we get no brand. So that's what Johnny was talking about as far as like making us look at the bigger picture of spending more money on the marketing.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that.
Yeah,
What is something
like you said, is what do we do for generating? We do bingo on Thursdays from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. You know, those are the things that we do. And yeah, but I don't want to say that's like going out there working for the lead. It actually is very rewarding. But those are the one thing that I can tell you is that senior centers and where the elders are, where you can donate and volunteer, it's been huge because it goes a long run. And then that they start talking about you.
And then I guess to answer a little further down on how to keep our retention or getting more business is collaborating, as Johnny was talking, with the hospice, with the nurses. Every time I'm at the homes and I see a nurse come in, even if we're full, hey, I got a room available. If you know anyone who's looking for our services, here's our pamphlet. We have 5 locations. We're more than happy. And if we can't take them, we can place them at our friend's boarding care. So that's another way. And that's a tip for these boarding care owners who are running it as a mom and pop, is to get out of their shell. Just talk to everyone who comes in. We're always looking. Unfortunately, we are in the business that we are always looking, right? So that's another way for them to keep their homes full, or at least have something on the pipeline if something happens.
Yeah, that's a great tip for folks that are listening. What about tours? So let's talk about tours. Has there been anything that you guys have noticed has been really beneficial for you when potential residents and their family members come and tour your homes?
Yeah, from what I've noticed, now we are in the Rancho Mirage area, so it's a little more affluent, upper level here. So the level of questions that they do ask are a little bit different. So I do have to approach it differently. And obviously, as Johnny was saying, come with more value. Not that I don't, but we got to actually provide a lot of value for them because that's what they're paying. Rather than other locations, demographics, it's a little bit different. It's just being able to adjust. But usually when they come in, I greet them with a smile and make sure all the lights are on. If they usually come around noon, they're cooking, so it smells like fresh food, and the house always smelling good, and sit down for a little bit, because sometimes it depends on the family, right? Some may come very agitated, tired, so they may need just a little time to decompress. Or it's just a matter of reading whoever's coming in, and sit down, relax, give them water, and get to know who their loved one is, what kind of level of care they need, and see if we can provide that level of care. Because if we can't, like Johnny says, we'll be the first one to tell you no, because we don't want that reputation to be like, oh, I took my mom or dad with Angels Haven Care and they didn't care for them. They couldn't care for them. So we'll be the first one to be like, we can't, but we can have someone else look at this.
Yeah, I think one of the big things is we focus on because they come in, they're distressed. My mom just fell, and like all of a sudden I gotta move them in. So their minds is like going crazy. And we done a couple of tours and we're already found that 98% that's what happened. This just happened a week ago. And I don't know what to do. Okay, so we understand they're coming very distressed into the homes, and we make it about a loved one. Okay, I understand that this home looks really nice and you like it, but let's focus on, is this what mom needs? Do we provide the care for your mom? We eliminate that, and I tell people like, hey, let's not get her emotions. You think the kitchen is nice because you think it's nice. No, is this something suitable? Is this dining table, is this the activities that we're going to be having are the ones that your mom needs? And that's when they're diffused and say, okay, I get it. It's not about me. It's not. We have a pool. In two of our homes, we have our swimming pool. Oh my God, what a beautiful pool. I get that. But that's not what mom needs. Tell me more about your mom, and let's go ahead and walk the property, and let's talk about if we can provide the right care for your mom. And that alone, and then they start talking to you. And in sales, you listen more and you let them talk. But ask the quality questions. What is it that your loved one or your mom and your dad needs, and what are you guys are looking for? See where a fit for you is. And then based on that, then you start walking the property. If they tell you, hey, my mom would love to have a private shower, guess what? You're going to go to the room that has a private shower. Don't show them one that doesn't have one. She just told you that. Hey, my mom is really big on having a 16-inch TV. I'm like, okay, great. I do have that room. And you take them to that room. From there, that avoids you walking the whole house, and they start seeing things. Oh, the room is too small. You're like, okay, and then that's the first room that you show them that's too small. And because you didn't ask the proper questions, now they remember, oh, these rooms are too small. And they walk the house with thinking, oh, the room is too small. And that's what we make.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, we're asking those questions, and don't make it about you. And because everybody in sales is like, my home has this, and we provide 24/7, and we provide meals. I'm like, stop. Ask the question, what is it that your mom needs, and how can we cater to your mom? And then we go from there.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Just meet them where they're at, and then you can value stack on top of that once you hit that biggest pain point for them. That is awesome. If you were to start over, what would you guys do differently? Or is there anything that you would do differently at this point?
I would definitely just buy an existing one, and then just buy an existing one, not start it, because you're bleeding a lot in the beginning. Especially if you're buying the real estate, and then you're holding costs until you get licensed here in California, you're looking at 6 to 9 months. So that's a lot of money that is just bleeding every month. So I would just buy an existing one in a great location. Of course, you got to do your due diligence on the location, on the business, the reputation of the seller, and look at the books. These owners don't even have a P&L sometimes. So you got to go based off your knowledge at some points. So that's my advice. Don't reinvent the wheel like Johnny was mentioning in the beginning. Just take one on and start cash flowing a little bit so you're not bleeding.
That's great advice. Johnny, what about you? What would you do differently if you're just getting started?
If I was to start over again, one thing we didn't mention is that all 5 properties, we have spent zero money out of our pocket. We done it with
Tell me more.
Money out of our pocket. We done it with OPM, other people's money. And that comes with, like you said, like collaboration and networking, right? Telling everybody exactly what our vision is, how many people want to impact in the world, we want to do with senior care. I would have raised more money, more capital. I think I should have raised more than $500,000 to $1 million. Because, at that time, I think I don't know, whatever they want to call it, what a recession they call it in the market. I think that's what the people call it when then there's downside. I call it opportunity time. So I call it there's blood, I got to jump in the water. Definitely, I think I would have raised more money, and I would have negotiated less interest on the money that I borrowed, because at that time we did have investors where the money that I'm investing in stocks and flips, I'm not getting it. I'm actually losing it. So the money that we raised, I would have done it at lower interest. We still got a nice interest on it, but I would have raised more money at a lower interest. So I would have had, now that we're right now, we're cash flowing, but we'll be able to buy more faster if we would have had more capital.
That's good advice. Yeah, I think a lot of times folks underestimate the amount of capital it takes. They underestimate the holding costs, as you mentioned, Ricardo, as well. So they don't have enough in reserves. And then that can lead to some very stressful times, maybe taking residents that you can't really provide great care for. And then that impacts your reputation and then all spirals from there. So that's really great advice. I appreciate that. For you guys, we'll start with Ricardo. Ricardo, what are some of the biggest trends that you're seeing in assisted living right now, especially in the residential sector?
It's becoming more popular and a lot of people are getting into it. So it's going to really, as an owner, you really have to define and make yourself the expert and, of course, provide the care, because there's going to be so many popping up now, especially in the residential home with social media. Everyone is wanting to invest in real estate. And honestly, this is a really great way to invest in real estate and also cash flow. You can cash flow quite decent, right, from a home if you're in the right location. So I think that's the trend right now. A lot of people are getting into it. And another thing that people are mentioning, a lot of these, what's that called, Johnny? The big time investors, corporations coming in and investing in this now, taking over the assisted living, because it's just, like I said, it's getting known. So we really have to position ourselves as Angels Haven Care as a place to take your mom or dad. I think that's the main focus that we are making sure that we target and focus on.
That's great. What about you, Johnny? What are some trends that you're seeing in the space?
Definitely, I think innovation, AI. I think a lot of people are adapting to it. In our space, I don't see AI. I don't see a robot coming in stimulating mom with Alzheimer's or playing the puzzle with her yet. But definitely in AI, the CRMs are coming in to manage medication and keep logs and providing more of a on-time information to the family. I think I see there's a trend that people are adapting on them. We're going to these conferences and we're seeing more vendors coming out with technology that it's going to help the caregivers and it's going to help us to be more efficient when it comes to managing their care.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, it's changing a lot in the space with technology. And it's exciting and it's leading to better care and better outcomes, but there's definitely a lot that's coming down the horizon in the technology space.
Those owners who are not adapting, they're the ones who are.
Yeah.
Yep.
It can be. They think they're running business like in the 80s where they can do shady stuff and no one will know because social media wasn't out there back then where in 3 seconds someone will know your business.
Yeah, and that needs the opportunity for folks like us to come in and take over those businesses and update them to current times and to go from there. But yeah, you're exactly right.
We made it, Alex. We took it a step further in that. I come from corporate. I worked in Coca-Cola over 13 years, and we run this with our mission statement and our vision and our core values. In our core values is where we have our license, where we have our emergency map, how to exit. There's our core values. And our second core value, it's innovation. And we make sure we let the caregivers know that it is part of it. And our first one is going to be empowering it, like making them leaders, but we're going to go in innovation. And then the compassion, and then the last one is see something, say something. And we make sure that everything we do, the job description that we build for the caregivers, everything in our home, it's attached and it comes in collaboration with the core values.
That's great. Yeah, I love that. I think that's really important to have those core values and that mission and vision that everyone understands, everybody knows how to follow them and knows where to find them, which you mentioned as well. I wanted to hit on something real quick that you just brought up in terms of caregivers. It's really hard to find good caregivers and retain good caregivers. Is there anything that you guys have learned in that space in terms of how to find good caregivers, how to retain good caregivers? How's that process been for you?
Yeah. So, I mean, So unfortunately, I don't think we do have problems, but it's not that big people make it seem as for us as one of our core values. Some people may be wondering, how are these guys managing 5 locations, right? It's our people who make the business run, essentially, and empowering. That's one of our core values, empowering the caregivers to take the initiative, to care, to improve on themselves. We're big on personal development, so we are actually bringing that to our caregivers. And because we can't be at the homes 24/7, they're the ones there all the time. For us, I think, and Johnny can hit a little bit of what he's doing with people, but for us, it's just one, it helped. Again, going back to what would I recommend? Buy an existing business, and then at least you have some of the caregivers that you can see if they're well equipped for your culture as a business owner. And if not, at least you have someone there operating, and then start bringing in your own culture and nurturing those caregivers to your culture. And Johnny can hit a little bit of how we are now going into SOPs and structuring the business, because people are probably wondering how these crazy guys are managing 5. So we're structuring every house now. So every home you go up to, it's the same layout, the same. The caregiver is always going to be smiling. So we're structuring every home. So essentially, we can be like, here's our business. We don't want to run the business anymore, but here's the folder. This is how you run the business. If anything happens, here it is. Turn to page 142, and there it is. Pretty much the franchise way, right? That's essentially, going back to your question, how we maintain and retain our caregivers is by empowering them and having that growth mentality. And I'll let Johnny talk more on that, because that's his department. Again, going back to, we know our departments. Johnny knows his department. I know my department. For me, when caregivers, they know, I tell them, like, of course, if it's an emergency, talk to me. But if it's to chat and tell me how your day was, honestly, I don't care. Sometimes when they call me, and even Johnny, when he talks to me, it's like straight to the point. Okay, we got to do this and that, because that's how I am. When I call Johnny, all right, we got to be there at 7:30. All right, boom. All right, bye. So I let the caregivers know as well. That's just me. No one's gonna change me. Johnny can talk for hours, and he can be at the houses for hours and talk to the caregivers. That's another expertise and good quality that Johnny brings and keeps our staff.
Yeah, definitely. You saw when you asked the question, I always jumped out of the recording here, because I'm very passionate about it. And Ricardo, he was very big on this. Hey, the business are made by people, man. We got to surround ourselves with A students. We weren't A students, so let's hire A students. You know what I mean? People actually done this before, have more experience than us. And yeah, definitely, we did it. We structured the business where they knew the mission statement, where we're going to be. They knew exactly our vision was to impact the tsunami, the silver tsunami. The mission was, we're going to be the most luxury, caring, assisted living in Southern California. Okay, and then the core values, we read them off, and we asked the feedback. How do you feel about them? Because always is not implementing things, it's always getting the buy-in on them. Let's do this together. So when we build them, it wasn't like I came up with it and I did ChatGPT them on it and I launched it. No, it was one of those things like, what are you guys looking for? They're like, hey, we never had the power to order groceries. Hey, we never had a saying, what bed should we bring in? And I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, I think this is a better suitable tool that is going to help the resident. And I'm like, okay, tell me about it. And that goes to see something, say something. If you're seeing something that's not working, tell me about it. So yeah, definitely launched it. We did, when we first took over the business, we wanted to make sure we knew their personal, their professional, and their financial goals. If they have a personal problem, guess whose problem it is? My problem. If they're struggling with money, guess who's struggling with money? I am. So I want to make sure that when they come to the homes and they take care of these residents, they don't have those problems, because we're there to take care of Bob. So tell me what's bothering you. What can I do to help? And sure enough, we just found out that somebody needed a schedule to be changed, and it wasn't a big deal. And that was not making them feel good, because the way they were getting transportation, it was uncomfortable. We changed it. They're like, oh my God, I've been asking for this for 5 years. And it wasn't even a raise. It was just literally changed the schedule 4 hours earlier. You know what I mean? And then the other thing we did, I think another one is, hey, I wish I had a better padding with handle, like where we can hold the hand so we can turn the resident. And I'm like, I'll just order on Amazon. You'll get it tomorrow. Oh my God, I feel so great. This is so stressful. But little things like that is because we sat down with them. We told them exactly, hey, what are your goals? What can we do to make your job easier? And then from there, it's being game on where they tell us, they come to us, they're like, what else can we do? Can we promote? Can we do this? We're like, no, let them market it to me. I'll go play bingo. You stay here. You take care of Bob. But yeah, it's been one of those, they're asking us like, how can we grow the business? Even one of our caregivers right now, tomorrow we're going to take them to our coach. And we're building a leader. We're duplicating them. Just like I tell, I need to duplicate myself. And Elizabeth, I need you to duplicate yourself. And now we're bringing her into the business so she can run the house as her own business. And I told her later on, I'll sell you the business. If you want to buy it, you can have it. We'll do seller
finance.
Yeah, exactly.
We do seller finance. But those are the things that we're doing with our people now. And the reason we know what they want is because we sit down with them and they're our partners. They're not our employees. They're our business partner. We tell them what goes on in this home, it's much responsibilities that I have that you have. Remember, without you, this thing is not going to move forward. So we're marching together at the same beat. And if somebody missed a step, you know what? We're here to pick you up. And that's how our culture has been, where now we walked into a home. It's not because it has to be clean because of the state. It doesn't have to be clean because there's a tour. No, those are the expectations. Expired food. Will you have expired food and feed your mom with expired food? Those are the dialogues we have. Not because there's a visit, you got to clean the table. If your mom says there has to have a clean table. So we installed that culture, and it's been amazing. I love it. They're referring us other caregivers. We have a list of resumes that people want to come and work for us.
Yeah.
And understand
that's amazing.
And we care about them. Johnny, I would say Johnny care. He's the one who does the actual loving, hugging, and all that, and showing the affection to them. Sometimes they just need a little bit of love. Right? It's a tough industry. They're here. We see death all the time. So sometimes they just need a little hug, decompress. And Johnny's very good at that. So sometimes it's just about showing them appreciation that we care, that they matter to us. And they'll go above and beyond for us sometimes. Not sometimes, all the time now that we're building that culture. Because we're running this as a business, as a corporation. Our main goal is to step aside, and as Johnny was mentioning, we're duplicating ourselves. So essentially, one or two of the caregivers that we'll bring along, they're the ones who are going to be running the business. And then me personally, I love to travel, so I'll be somewhere in Italy or somewhere in Europe.
We did. He left a couple of months ago. He left for 10 days, and nothing changed. He was just texting me, okay, how many new residents? Okay, I saw the cash flow, and then he's coming in, and I'm like, dude, you can stay there if you want, you know what I mean? But definitely one tip
that's awesome.
Yeah, one tip I can tell you that's really working that we implemented is a weekly call with our caregivers on Zoom. And we let them speak for, hey, what's going on? Any new stuff going on with the residents? Any wins that you got? Anything that you can let us know what's working, what's not working? And then second, we implemented what we call an Angel of the Month. And that's kind of similar to Employee of the Month. We call it Angel of the Month, where
because angels need care.
Yeah.
So it's a corporate. It's now the criteria is because we're big on KPIs. All they're doing is we're attaching everything to the core values. Hey, did you do your meds management on time? Hey, but did you check in on time? Hey, did you do your activities? Hey, did you do extra training? All those things now go into a point system where if you're not doing it, you're not going to get that Angels of the Month. And it comes with, everybody loves the chi-ching. And I'm not asking you to do something that, out of this world, to do cartwheels. It's just one of the things is like, hey, are you taking extra training on getting to learn more about old-timers? The proper lifting, the proper tool. Like you said, this business it's getting evolved. It's getting innovated now, where there's different tools that we can use now instead of using our back.
Yeah.
And then another
Very
tip
quick.
I would say, to going back to empowerment of the caregivers, their hourly wage is not the only way that they can make money with us. If they bring us referrals, we actually pay them, right? So if, because our main goal is to stay away from the homes so they can run it. So we let them know, hey, like I said earlier, talk to every nurse that comes in, talk to whoever comes in. We always have a room available, and say if someone calls me and they're like, oh, the caregiver so and so gave me your number, we're looking for a place, do you have a place? Then we let them know, hey, this person called me for you, and here's your couple $100, $1,000, whatever it is. And that's an extra way for them to make money. It's a great tip for any owner, because we do hear a lot of owners who are struggling, and we sometimes we go through those stages that we do struggle with people, but that's an extra way, a layer of showing appreciation for them. If we're making money, I want you to make money too.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's beautiful. Those are some really important tips. And if folks, I would recommend you go back the last 15 minutes and listen to that again, because that was a lot of value that you guys provided there. I really appreciate it. Before we go, what is something that you're working on right now that you're passionate about?
It's just duplicating myself. It's people. For me, it's people. I'm always looking for ways to, like, how can I make their job easier? Because I know they'll spend more time with the residents. It's the communication. I understand nobody's going to be as bubbly as me, social butterflies. I know they care. And what I'm working on is, we do have implements up, but how can we get that caregiver where I don't have to have the weekly meeting and it just comes from them? I'm finding ways now where, what can I do more to bring the group together? And then instead of me starting a meeting every week, it comes from them. More empowerment. What I'm working on is more empowerment, and how can I make their job and even their life more happy. They even tell me, like, I don't come to work. I really come here to take care of Bob. And I'm writing, okay, how can you come up and create a way to create an activity, and don't wait for me to implement the activity? I want you to actually get to know the resident, and then on your own, make that decision. Hey, he needs to be up or a certain time, or a certain meal helps him keep up going. You know what I mean? So I think I'm working more on that, people, and I don't think it's going to stop. So to answer your question, I'm working in more ways to keep them more happy, more smiley, and more money in their pocket.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Ricardo, how about you? What's something you're working on that you're passionate about?
Yeah, definitely. I think overall, business-wise, right now is structuring the business, because we were expanding and growing so quick that, I'll be straight up, our books are not what they should be. So we are working on that. Everything, we have our person looking at our QuickBooks, so that's getting structure, so we know what's coming in, what's going out. And we were just focusing on expanding, and we were overlooking those things. But now that we have the 5 locations, I had to tell Johnny, hey, we need to focus on these 5 locations. Let's at least somewhat structure these 5 locations. We can repeat that at another location. So that's what I'm excited about, working on that, structuring the business, continuing to collaborate with doctors, nurses, hospices, anyone who's in the industry. I'm excited to be working with them. But overall, business, structuring it, and being able to show that we're profitable. And then after this, focus on a 30 to 50 bed.
That's awesome. I love that. How can listeners learn from you guys, reach out to you? Is there anything that you guys want to share with them before we wrap things up?
I just want to say, and I know we talked about it, if you want to do this, just go all in. I know there's a lot of mechanics. Just, if you have a target, if you want to do it, just go for it. Don't overthink it. It's very rewarding. At the end of the day, things will work out, but commit to it. I always talk about 90% is about the target, 8% is about people, and 2% is just mechanics. The mechanical stuff, you'll find a Ricardo, because he does everything, operation and all that stuff. Man, I know it's not easy to find him, but that will come. But you have to have the asset first, and then everything will work out as you go. Focus on the target if you really want to do it, and then the people, we talk collaboration, and 2 is the mechanics. Don't overthink it.
That's great. What about you, Ricardo?
What was the question again?
Yeah, how can listeners learn from you, reach out to you, and is there anything else that you want to share before we wrap things up?
Got it. So they can find us on Angels Haven Care on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and my personal is the Rick Gart on Instagram. And some of the tips I would recommend is just starting, and of course knowing that you're going to have to provide good care for our elderly, and so surrounding yourself with the right people so you can better provide services for our elderly folks. Don't just come in and think, yeah, I'm going to cash flow $10,000, the whole thing that's out there on TikTok, Instagram. It is a business, so you got to treat this like a business and go network. It's not going to be easy, because you got to go network, and you got to actually, again, treat it like a business. It's a business, and treat your people right. And that's the main thing. They're the ones who are here 24/7, and they're the ones who make the business go around.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great way to wrap things up. Thank you, Ricardo. Thank you, Johnny, so much for joining us today, for sharing your wisdom, your insights, your knowledge. It's been awesome learning from you guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Dr. Alex.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it for the opportunity, and yeah, appreciate it. And I'm sure Johnny appreciates this, and we're happy to help anyone who wants to get started as well. But be willing to put in the work.
No, thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Thanks, man. Thanks for what you're
thanks,
doing.
Johnny.
Thanks for what you're doing. This is huge, and people can reach out to you, to us at angelshavencare.com. Definitely, man, it's more power to you. What you're doing is amazing, man. Like, it's bringing value to people, because there's not enough podcasts out there, people talking about this. I know it's not very sexy, but it is very important, and our seniors do matter. So thank you for doing this. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Johnny. Thanks, Ricardo. Really appreciate it. Thank you, guys. And thanks to everyone who's listening. And if you got some value from this, go ahead and drop us a 5-star rating and a review. We appreciate it. So we'll wrap up this episode of the RAL Room Assisted Living Podcast. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the RAL Room Assisted Living Podcast. We hope you found today's episode insightful. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave us a raving 5-star review. And a quick review helps more listeners find the show, and more seniors get the exceptional care they deserve.
And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And just so you know, we have prepared some free resources for you to help you succeed in residential assisted living in addition to this podcast. Head over to theralroom.com, that is theralroom.com, to download our free 10-step guide to launch your first or next residential assisted living home, or our 10 reasons to passively invest in residential assisted living ebooks.
And if you're ready to take the next step and make real moves in the RAL industry, join us in the RAL Room Mastermind. It is an exclusive community where we deep dive into everything you need to launch and grow your own residential assisted living business. You'll get access to recorded courses, live calls with industry experts, a RAL calculator, resources and tools, like-minded entrepreneurs, funding opportunities, and an expert networking community to help you along your journey.
Be sure to join us next time on the RAL Room Podcast as we continue to explore the world of residential assisted living with more great guests. See you then.